Hi YouTube, I'm back with another video, and today I'm coming to you with a video about the different diets I've been on, which I believe in the process gave me IBS because it's something I've never had. But let me quickly take you through the diets I've been on since I was, not since I was at university, it's probably just after university, because in university I started flirting with the vegetarian diet. I was not completely following the vegetarian diet. I probably was a flexitarian at the time. But after university, I decided to become vegetarian just to live healthier, to have my weight under control, and just to feel better. I've heard so many benefits of the diet, so I just decided to do that. And I was actually vegetarian for a really long time. And then I moved to South Korea and I became pescatarian because you cannot turn your head anywhere without seeing a fish market of lovely fresh fish, but also the fish were farmed mostly. It wasn't really from the ocean. I gave up vegetarianism for veganism, and then for pescatarianism. And in that same year, while in Korea, I decided that no, I actually prefer a vegetarian diet, and seeing that there's so much tofu around, I am just going to go back to my vegetarian diet, which I did, because they have plenty of vegetable side dishes with every meal and plenty of tofu and everything that you need as a vegetarian. It's very easy to be a vegetarian in South Korea. But I also have to add to that that although I was vegetarian, I did not consume dairy as much. I would just eat cheese on a pizza. That's about it. I would not have cheese or milk or any other dairy products in my refrigerator. After being vegetarian, I decided that I want to become vegan. And so I just decided and I followed through. Coming to Saudi Arabia, I was vegan. And what I found then in Saudi Arabia is that I could not find vegan options, and I could not find vegan proteins or plant-based proteins and milk in the stores. I lived in a smaller city. Now it's more developed, but when I got here, there were no Whole Food stores, no big supermarket. I couldn't find those kind of produce. I'm sure if I had to live in Riyadh or Jeddah, I would have been able to sustain my diet. But I was not convinced. I was determined to stay vegan, even though I could not find those produce. So I would eat lentils and beans and things like that. But the thing with beans is that it started bloating me, and that I learned very early in my journey that beans are not for me. Being on a vegan diet, I felt great. I have so much energy, I have to say that. While the diet was good, I was really, really in amazing shape, mentally, physically, psychologically. Nothing could get me down, really. But not being able to find the proteins that you need, that will definitely take a toll on your health, and it did take a toll on my health to the point where my immune system was really weak and I got really sick, and I would be so stubborn. I would just stuff up with the garlic and ginger and any herb that was healthy and could help me, but that didn't even help because my immune system was just too weak. So I had to make decisions, right? I decided, if anything, I would rather eat fish, which is a great protein, high in omega-3 fatty acids. So I decided, okay, I will eat fish because we have a local fish market here in Tabuk, and the fish is fresh and it's just so enticing every time I went there, because I would go with my husband. So I decided, okay, let me start eating fish. But with that came the problem, because when I was vegan, I was very, very creative with the vegetables, with my veggies and with my grains and with my seeds and with my nuts. I was very, very creative. Smoothies, green smoothies, seed smoothies, anything. And lots variety of vegetables. But once I became pescatarian, I love fish. If there's one thing I like, it's fish. And so once I became pescatarian, it was really, really difficult for me to want to create dishes, because I didn't have to, because now I have this main protein. And I started neglecting a lot of other groups of nutrition, because I could eat fish, I also included eggs in my diet. So it was so much easier to just eat that. And I eat that excessively. And then the main veggies in Saudi Arabia are your zucchinis and your eggplant, and I love both. Potatoes, obviously, tomatoes. So tomatoes, they would put in the eggplant, and I love that combination. I would eat so much eggplant, tomatoes, and bell peppers, because there's also like this, I think it's a Pakistani dish, which is with bell peppers and eggplant and tomatoes. It's so fantastic. And I would simply eat those kind of produce. I did not really reach out or try to create new dishes. And then with the garlic, I also always went overboard with garlic and ginger. I would literally eat probably either 6 to 9 garlic cloves in one day, in every day, because I believe that was healthy. Although some people said that's not healthy, it's unhealthy, but they could never explain why they say that. They could never explain the science behind it. So I never took them too seriously. I'm just like, what do you know? You cannot even explain anything to me. But in the end, anything that you do excessively will in the end cause you a lot of problems, as in my case. With a pescatarian diet, then being on just fish and eggs and eggplant and lots of garlic and tomatoes, very acidic produce, and pineapples. Oh my goodness, pineapples! I would use pineapple in every smoothie. So much pineapple, and orange juice and lemons. Oh goodness, I just went overboard with those produce. And so I, I started feeling constipated. I started feeling bloat, discomfort, constipation, and a lot of burping. I would burp all the time, excessively. I mean, before I used to burp, but the way I started to burp was just excessively. So I started going to the doctor. I had a gastroenterologist that I saw. I also had a internal medicine specialist that I saw, and all these people who tell me that they found out that I have IBS because my constipation keeps coming back. So every month I would be at the doctor's office. They would just put a band-aid on the problem. Nobody really helped me. They said to me that, oh, you need to eat a lot of fiber, stay away from spicy foods and fatty foods. You shouldn't eat junk food. So I believe that, right? I'm like, okay, I can do that. I can eat a lot of fiber. But then what I noticed, it's the more I ate fiber, the more I became constipated. And I couldn't understand what was going on. When I went back to the doctor said you should follow a Fodmap diet, but not explaining to me what Fodmaps are, what the diet is, look it up, what it consists of, nothing. And on my part, I also didn't do the research. I just thought like, okay, high fiber. That's what she said. Fodmaps, high fiber. I did not know Fodmaps. A Fodmap chart consists of 2 types of fibers or diets. And I never looked it up, so I just thought, okay, I can do high fiber, whole wheat, pasta. I would eat nectarines, plums, beets, a lot of beets, barley, a lot of barley. But I also found that every time I drank my barley drink, I would be bloated and I would get constipated. And still, I didn't realize it's just it's this produce that makes me constipated actually, because I just thought it's healthy. Why would I get constipated when I eat an apple or when I make a smoothie with apple in it? I get that bloat immediately in my gut. I could feel it, and it would be painful. Yet I did not think about, oh, maybe I should look up why this is happening. Garlics and onions started making me gassy, excessively gassy, to the point where I could not eat it. First it was onions. I could not consume onions. And later on it was garlic. And I'm like, I don't know what to do anymore. So I did some research and I came across a post where it said if you have IBS, you need to do an elimination diet to see what foods actually work with your gut and what foods don't. And so I decided, okay, I'm going to do an elimination diet. So I would take one food at a time and I would eat it for a day. But luckily for me, if I eat, for example, an apple, or if I eat tomatoes or potato, I get a reaction immediately. I feel that bloat, I feel that pain, I'm in discomfort and all that. So it was really easy for me to do the elimination diet. But what really surprised me was when I found that eggplant, bell peppers, asparagus, tomatoes, potatoes, broccoli, cauliflower, cabbage, all these things gave me a reaction. It irritated my bowels. And because of that, I would be constipated and I couldn't understand what is going on. So finally, I decided that I need to look into the FODMAP diet. I wanted to see why these foods are constipating me. So I needed to dig deeper into what IBS consists of, what kind of IBS sufferers are out there. And so I searched on YouTube endlessly until I got across an Australian doctor's YouTube channel. And I will look at his information and I will put his information down in the description box. So I came across this doctor, and he actually, if I remember correctly, he was doing research on IBS patients. And he had a study out and he divided, I think he put all these participants on a high fiber diet, then he put them all on a low fiber diet. And then he saw that some of them flourished on a high fiber diet, whereas others suffered. Whereas those who suffered on that high fiber diet would flourish on the low fiber diet, and those who flourish on the high fiber diet would suffer on the low fiber diet. They would just get constipated and all that. And that's when I realized that there are two types of IBS sufferers, and I need to figure out which category I fall into. And so he also referred us to, he talks about the FODMAP in his research as well, or in his presentation that he gave. I decided I want to look into FODMAPs. So I went on to, I Googled and I got to healthline.com. And there I found the site for ibsdiets.org. And that led me to the FODMAP diet. And then I saw on this chart, there's a low fiber or low FODMAP, which is basically low fiber foods, and then a high FODMAP, which is your high fiber foods. But when I looked at the low FODMAP, I saw a lot of the produce that I'm actually eating is on the low FODMAP diet, but they are irritants. They irritate my bowels. Also, the ones on the high fiber diet. And I thought to myself, what am I going to do? And then I decided to, first I said to myself, okay, I'll just go with the low fiber. But then I realized there's bell peppers on there, there's eggplant, which I love, there is potatoes on the low FOD, a lot of produce, cauliflower, cabbage, Brussels sprouts, broccoli, all those are on the low FODMAP, but also the ones on the high FODMAP, I could not eat that. And so I was just so discouraged, and I felt sad, and I was just in disbelief because I didn't know what's going on with me anymore. But the one thing I remembered, the mind is very powerful, and the one thing I remembered saying to myself, I'm not giving up on my health. Because if I give up on my health, I give up on me. You are nothing without your health, just like you're nothing without God. And so I just said to myself, okay, I am making progress. So let's look into bell peppers, potatoes, tomatoes, eggplant. Let's look into those vegetables and see why those vegetables gives you a reaction. Then I came across nightshade vegetables. These are actually nightshade vegetables, which contains a chemical which is very difficult for the body to break down or to process if you eat it excessively. So I have eaten so much of these produce that I think it really, it really affected my gut. And so once I knew about the nightshades, I'm like, oh, okay, now I know. Nightshades, you off limits. The cauliflower and those kind of things, they off limits. That's what I was thinking in my mind. And also acidic, highly acidic foods off limits. And then I'm thinking, so what would I be eating then? Because I cannot go high fiber at all. High fiber kills me. So that's when I continued doing research, and my husband and I, we looked at Amazon and we searched for FODMAP diets and books, and we found books, and we bought 2 books, and I was just very discouraged by these books because the produce that's in there, I cannot eat it, and the information that's in there, I know the information already, and I was just even more discouraged until I came across the book of Noor Zibdeh. I came across a book, and it is the Complete Acid Reflux Diet. And the reason I came across this book is because I wanted to see the relationship between my IBS and my gas, and why I have acid reflux all the time. I actually found the answers in this book, and that is what led me to the diet I have chosen for myself at the moment. In my next video, I will explain what the book entails, what the diet entails. So I will give you a synopsis of the book and how acid reflux and IBS are related and how the two overlap. And I will give you some information about Noor, who she is, what she does, what she specializes in. And I will also talk about the diet plans in the book, how long you have to stay on one diet, and the aim of each diet. In my next video, I will explain all that. For now, thank you for watching. I hope that this information is helpful, and I hope that you can find your symptoms within this information, or if you know of somebody that's struggling with IBS and does not know which spectrum of the IBS she or he falls in, please help the person and maybe watch the video of this Australian doctor, which I will link down below. Thank you for watching. I hope the information was helpful. You need to write down your symptoms, have a food diary, and figure out what you need to do. And hopefully you can buy this book. It's really cheap. It's on Kindle. You can get it on Kindle. You can also get a hard copy. It's not an expensive book, so go and support her. If you think this book is for you, I will review it. And if you think the book is for you, please buy it, because I'm filming the recipes, but I am not listing like the ingredients as in writing the ingredients. I'm just naming the ingredients because I think that we have to support those who do the work, who put in the time, who does the research. I like to support those people in terms of buying their books or buying what they have produced instead of thinking I should have it for free. So thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video where I will go over the book and Noor and the diet plans. For now, see you later.